It is time, my friends, to make peace with this project. It's been a blast. A blast, what a pun. But I am officially done, I think, with the Blast Chamber project, because no matter what I try, it just seems to fail over and over again. And do you know what? Doing stuff manually with my pick ain't so bad. In fact, I had crafted up another 2 shulker boxes full of this grey concrete over here. The amount I'm tearing through at the moment is ridiculous. If you saw the last episode, we used 2 full boxes of that stuff, and now we're using another 2. And I'm just kind of reminded that I can come in here and actually salvage a bunch more. There is actually quite a bit down here to be collected, and this may be the last time we ever do this. I am thinking, I want to say goodbye to this project. It was a lot of fun, but it's just been too much of a pain. So my question to all of you is, what do you want to see happen with this project? Should I just tear down all of these pipes that we built? Or maybe I can just build up the project as if it were there, some dud towers that are just there to tell the story of the materials being pushed through, and perhaps finish this project off as purely an aesthetic one, because as I've made very clear, we're kind of done here. So what did I do with all of this concrete? Well, if you saw the last episode, it'll be no surprise, but I've been working on a road that goes through the jungle area here. As you can see, it goes underneath our creeper towers. This is just perfect. And I have extended this from last time. So if you didn't catch the last episode, we have extended it from Corralis's base over to this T-junction. This road can go off to Wells Night and Vintage Beef. And then of course it leads into our area. Now what I've done is extended it just underneath our Creeper Tower bridge. It turns to the corner a little bit. And then we have this junction right here where the roads get a little bit smaller. So that road is going to go off to Etho and connect to him. And this one in this direction is going to lead to a project built underneath our portal that we're going to start work on in this episode. But first of all, we need to work on the road, and I've actually gone in and put in all of the carpet. And it looks very kind of yellow, at least the yellow pops out, which I think it'll do less once we put in andesite around here. Now, as for the road markings, I'm just kind of winging it, and I'm not really sure if that works, so I might change it later on. And with these roads, we obviously want to make them look as nice as possible, and there's lots of counting and trying to figure out angles and stuff like that. And so over here at this, I guess you could call it a T-junction, it's more of a Y-junction, somehow I managed to completely mess up these curves despite triple counting it and making sure it was all good. And now it's just too late, so the road markings just look completely messed up. Our neighbour Etho also came and checked out this road, and he shot me a message saying that he'd laid out the path for the road using TNT. This is it right here. So this is, oh goodness me. That is why it's a bad idea to do it with TNT. However, I think the idea might be to blow up the landscape. Goodness me. And yeah, clear the path that way. Oh wait, shooting this thing is a terrible idea. What if I miss? I've got a flame bow. Oh, okay. This guy's got me on my heels. So getting back to the road, I've extended 2 of the sections here. I'm talking about the andesite and the details underneath. Yet to build the road lamps, but the top bit, you know, took me a few minutes, and the underside took me about an hour to do these 2 sections. It's a complete pain because I'm forever pillaring up with scaffolding to place the blocks, right? But there it is, that's the build shape, and it's been extended to down here. It's going to be interesting to see how it develops when we turn the corner, but I think when we get down to this area, when it's closer to the ground, I need to come up with a new design that's basically going to be less time consuming. And so I think this will be the cut-off point. After that, we're really going into the undergrowth of the jungle, so that's the opportunity for a new design. And just looking back around here, you can see I've kind of built it up a little bit, but the problem now is that I'm starting to run out of resources. So this road has chewed up several shulker boxes worth of grey concrete. Every single one of my andesite blocks has been pinched from this chest up here. And this stone chest was about half full, and I'm down to 1 block. Oh dear. So to be fair, those kind of materials I've mined loads of this season, but of course we sell them in our shop, and this is where my idea has backfired a little bit, because my usual build palette has nothing to do with these materials, so selling them makes total sense. But now we need to go and gather some more, I guess. And so I came out here to the speed mining area. This is the place where we found lots of emerald ore a couple of episodes back. And my strategy at first was to do strip mining and then find pockets of andesite hidden away and mine it all out. This of course meant that we'd get our hands on more diamonds at the same time. 53, not so bad, right? And I may have gone a little bit overboard on the amount of andesite, okay? We've got enough for 2 full shulker boxes worth. But here's the thing, I'm a derp. I completely forgot to bring any shulker boxes with me. I also got a bunch of gravel while I was out here as well, so we can make some more grey concrete. But for now, I'm done with this. I'm going to grab my beacon and we're going to head out of here. The grind is on. It really is. And it's getting stuff done. I've now done all of the underside down here, leading to our T-junction, and it's probably of not that much interest, but the way I decided to do this was by treating it as if it's mirrored on 3 sides. So from the central point coming out to the edges, it's all like equal distance. And now we've got a visitor over there getting in the way. So last part to do for now is just to extend this. Probably going to have like 1 more section and then a half. Maybe I'll squeeze in 2 pillars in here. And there it is. You know, doesn't really feel like much difference, but down below I've gone ham putting in all of these blocks. So I think when we build the road out in the future, I'm definitely going to make the underside easier. I don't know exactly how, but we will be changing the road design, of course. And now we just got 1 little detail left, and that is to put in the lamps like we have here. So Corralis's lamp design, it goes from being diagonal to being straight like this. Pretty easy, it looks good, right? However, when we come down to the bottom here, all of a sudden there's loads of lamppost stumps at the bottom, and I don't know where to put these lampposts, and I thought it would be a good idea, or an opportunity, to perhaps introduce a new design to signify coming into the new area, right? And right now I'm exhausted from all the building, so we'll save the road creativity for another day as we design new lamps and new sections of the roads, and what we've done so far is pretty terrific, I think. Hey, look at this. The road is actually illuminated over here. So underneath the carpets, Corralis must have put in lighting. Well, that's something we're certainly going to have to do at some point in the future. Otherwise, we're going to have mobs spawning all over this thing. And anyway, we're turning our attention to what we want to do next, which affects the roads and many of the paths in this project we're doing, and that is the vines. So I don't want to chop down any old tree that happens to sort of be in the way of the road. I would much rather have these vines hanging down, but only to a certain height, because the overhang effect of the jungle and the jungle trees is really cool. And this requires us to use string to stop the vines from growing down any further. Problem is, what I'm using right now is literally the last of all of my string. And so, of course, we are going to be building some sort of spider farm. So while I get to work on that project, I wanted to share with you the Xisuma Says channel. We've had some popular videos over here lately and things are starting to take off, so I decided to overhaul the channel art, which was done by Mixinu, and it's absolutely fantastic. Mixinu also did the channel art for my main channel, which has recently been overhauled to match Season 7. And so I wanted to show you the full graphic art, which is actually bigger than what you see on YouTube, and for the Xisuma Says channel, this actually looks like the desk that I sit and record at. It's not exact, but I sit in the corner of the room with my desks, and I got my xisumavoid posters up on the wall. This is actually quite lifelike, which I really liked. So a massive thank you to Mixinu for the wonderful channel art, and of course go check out the Xisuma Says channel if you've never been over there before. But let's get back to this string farm that we need to build. So it's probably no surprise that I am down here in a mine shaft, and there are several spawners. We've got one right in front of us, and if we go over in this direction, you can see I kind of cleared things out. We're in range of this second one, so we've got a dual spawner. Now we're just out of range of being able to stand somewhere where we activate this one as well, so we can do these two at the same time, but not the one over there. And then there is also a 4th spawner right here, but again, I can activate these two, but not the other one over there, right? There's also a 5th spawner, but it's like deep down below where I am right now, and I think it'll be more of a pain to work with that one and these two. So the 2 that I'm going to pick to build this are going to be the 2 that are closest to my base, which is in this direction. So we're here for purely string and not for XP, which means building a farm can be relatively straightforward. We could drop them onto campfires where they take damage. The same for magma blocks, and the other option is of course wither roses. So we simply create a platform and then put some hopper minecarts underneath to go and pick up all of the items, but that's not fun, is it? Now, the idea that I had is probably going to be best reserved for our slime farm. I want to attract the slimes into a water stream and send them up to the surface and kill them with full damage. I thought that could be a lot of fun. But over here with the spiders, this is just not going to work out. I've had a real difficult time getting the spiders to see me through these gaps over here. And the idea is that in the corner of the room there is soul sand elevators to send the spiders up. And I've actually gotten them to come up through here, which means we could take them up to the surface and drop them down with full damage. The problem we face here is that when a spider touches a wall, it can pretty much hug it and climb upwards. So if we did want to do something with the water streams, we'd essentially have to build a complex system going around the entirety of this room with water. And I still believe that there could be problems with that as well. So it's going to be a real pain to make something like this work. And speaking of those problems, I thought I'd mock up a demonstration of what I'm talking about by having water walls all the way around. So in the center of the room we have a water stream to push out the cave spiders to the edges, but because we need fence gates to hold back the water on the outside, it means the cave spiders actually get caught down the bottom here. Another place they commonly get caught is when they go upwards in the water stream, they get caught at the very top. Let's nudge you. Yep. That one over there, you saw them get caught for a second. Sometimes they'll actually sit up the top here for far too long, like this one. And if they do go into the water stream, then we have another problem, which is where do we take them from here? We don't want a crazy amount of water sources going all the way up to the surface. So if we were to create some sort of system like this to funnel them to a single point, it too runs into a whole bunch of problems. So I think we're going to knock this idea on the head and just do things the simple way. And so we shall now detour from this farm for a while as we've sort of come to the least interesting bit. Just wanted to mention I've made this room like extra wide on all sides so the spiders don't touch the walls, and we're going to use water streams at the bottom to push them into the middle where the magma blocks are going to go. The problem here though is that I've actually not got enough. 21, and apparently there is no shop in the shopping district that sells them. So, here in the Nether, 4 magma blocks, of course, and this feels like the best way to grab the stuff is just to come down to lava level and find pockets of it just above where this is. Of course, if you're going to do this, bring your noob juice, make sure you got some fire resistance in case you fall in the lava, and look at that, almost a full shulker box of magma blocks. We've filled up several shulker boxes full of resources today, and of course that is more than enough for my needs. But what about the needs of other hermits here on the server? Oh, that was just a beautiful segue, wasn't it? Now, I'm serious. 1.16 is coming, and there's probably going to be a race to sell the new items, and maybe what we could do is prepare in advance. I don't know exactly what I'd do in 1.16, but I believe no one is selling magma blocks, and that could be an excuse to open up a new shop. And I've been eyeing up this space around here where someone has actually gone and put in a beacon, but I don't see any markers for the other space, so we might have to have a bit of a dash here to buy up some land. Oh, it looks like someone's been doing some digging. Are there any markers around here? Right, it looks like Impulse and Tango are making an expansion, and Impulse has an emerald farm, right? So that's probably his beacon over in that space, but this area here isn't claimed, so I definitely want to get on doing that. But before we do that, a couple of other things. Don't know why I decided to stand in here or what the purpose of it is. I casted a vote in this mayoral poll over here for Doc, as I felt a bit bad for Doc, you know, not being able to participate right now. But it turns out you can actually put down multiple votes. So I'm going to throw a vote Joe Hills' way as well, as there are dogs in the shopping area. There's even a dog in my base, so we clearly need a dog catcher on the server, and I think that puts Joe in the lead, at least for the dog catcher position. There's also this beautiful new map for Scar as well. That's really convincing. I love the tree down the side here. That's fantastic, isn't it? And there is stuff happening in the district. We got to keep our eye on this. Clearly False has something to do with this. Sponsored by False for Mayor campaign. This looks fascinating. I'm really curious to see what this is. I just don't think it's ready yet. And the land grab is real. All over the place I'm seeing little markers like this to buy up plots. So we don't want to run out of opportunities to make more shops in the future. So we've eyed up this area over here. And I have an idea for a shop that I feel would just fit in between these two perfectly. Because it's going to be the kind of shop where I... Oh, apparently I've just fallen, fallen into a trap. Oh, okay. As I was saying, it's the kind of shop where I would aim for this level of beautification as opposed to something more industrial and factory-like, which is probably what we're going to do over there to complement that build. So I'm going to buy up some space here and some space over there. So what better way to claim up a plot than with honey blocks? I should really add a sign to this, but over here, 325 blocks, so I'm just going to round that up to 400, so 4 blocks of diamond. So you can probably get a good idea how much I've spent over at the other location. First of all though, get on the llama, put 1 diamond in the chest, and enjoy. Okay, here we go. This is it, the llama's trying to look at me as well. It's like one of those little rides outside of a shop, it's genius. Look at that llama, twisting its neck, hi. That looks like it hurts, buddy. Yeah, he like periodically just does that. Go on, snap back to looking at me, buddy. There, see? Oh, I think the ride is over now. And so over here, you'll see I've taken a different approach to putting down the honey blocks. Basically, in the 4 corners of a 10 by 10 grid, which is 100 blocks, I have put down these. So it goes 1, 2... Oh, look, I've actually missed out a section of the grid. 1, 2 and 3 that way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's another 15 blocks. Let's go put these on the diamond throne. This thing is getting kind of out of hand, and I think most people like to go and put their diamonds at the top, right? That's what I was doing before when adding them to the pile. I'm going to put them out the back here. We're going to thicken this thing up. There's a guy hanging out up there. How did you get there, buddy? How did you get there? Being in this area has reminded me of my duties to the Hermitcraft Herald to conduct interviews with the mayoral candidates, and I've been slacking a little bit on that front. But today, we're going to have a very special interview with something, or I guess you could say someone, who is not actually a candidate. We're going to go and investigate this Grumbot that I've been hearing all about. So this reporter has their journal and their microphone ready to ask the Grumbot some questions. But what is the Grumbot? It is an artificial intelligence created by Mumbo using redstone. And this is to help Grian and Mumbo in their campaign. They have the almighty Grumbot to advise them. So we're actually going to ask a few questions. The idea is that you can rename some diamonds with questions and then it will answer them. So what we have to do is prime the Grumbot, bootload the brain, flood the mayoral reservoir, and then deposit the question diamond into this dropper. Why is Mumbo running for mayor? Well, I sure hope I don't press these buttons all too fast. Okay, no response from the Grumbot. Let's press the next one. I hear sounds. There are note blocks being played. And then we put in our question, and bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, we should get ourselves an answer. Whoa, the almighty Grumbot has spoken, and to win! Of course, to win! How do you intend to help Mumbo and Grian? By being Grumbot. What will you do if Mumbo wins? Grumbot will retire. How do you like your eggs? Sunny side up? In the hands of Grumbot's creator. Are you capable of lying? No, but a liar would also say no. Well, Mr. Grumbot, that is a somewhat paradoxical conclusion for this peculiar interview. What a mysterious machine Mumbo has conjured up here, eh? I've been left with many thoughts and I've summarised them here in the Grumbot AI report, which we will drop off in our office for Cub to read up and write upon in the next edition of the Hermitcraft Herald. So remember how I said we would come back to this project? And you know what? It's finished. Like, it's all done. But unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult to see in there and see what's going on. Can you see how there's pressure plates holding back water streams? Well, the idea here is that the room is bigger so that the spiders don't fall near the walls, and if they do try and get over there, the water pushes them back into the middle. And when there's a pressure plate on top of a magma block, they will still be able to take damage. So that's why we have this layout in both of the rooms. Now this right here is kind of temporary. If ever I feel like doing a little bit of decorating, I might come down here and, you know, turn this into a proper project. We've also got two ways up and down to the surface, so I can turn them into water streams if I want to put something up there in the future. So this gives us another opportunity to build a kind of pointless tower that just takes you underground up on the surface. Anyway, down below, it's a pretty simple collection system. One minecart on either side, just going back and forth, and then into a simple unloader. And here you can see we've actually started to collect a fair little bit of string, and I've only been AFK for about 10 minutes here. So this is a very good sign, and that is a project complete right there. So now we can make use of this string to, of course, remove vines in around our jungle area and make the paths and the roads that we're building that much nicer because of it. And as you might suspect, we have reached the end of this episode. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and go check out the Xisuma Says channel like I showed you earlier. And if you want to catch some of the live streams that I do, it's on the second channel. You can go watch those because we just did all of this in a live stream, by the way. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with another episode. Bye bye.